Sitecore Standard Values podcast. I am your host, Rick Bauer, Director of Customer Transformation at Sitecore. In this podcast, we continually seek to provide deeper insights into the value of Sitecore as a solution to business problems. With regular episodes from me in the US and from my counterpart Sultan in the Netherlands, we will alternate to bring you a variety of guests to share their global perspectives and experiences through a rich tapestry of discussion, opinion, and thought experiments. Fancy. And I'm not in the US right now. We'll get to that in a second. My guest today is Sean Broderick, Sitecore's Director of Product Marketing, podcast host himself, and honestly the best damn pub tour guide in Dublin. More on that as well. In fact, we are coming to you live from a hidden local gem known as, well, named The Hideout near Croke Park, that has the best pint of Guinness in Dublin. Just a fact. We'll leave it.
Yes.
So thank you to The Hideout, and thank you, Sean, for joining me today for this special live from SUGCON in Dublin, Ireland. Welcome to Sitecore Standard Values. And please tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself, this wonderful pub, SUGCON. Let's just open it up and get the conversation going.
Rick, firstly, it's great to be here. Rick asked me where the best place is to host a podcast after SUGCON, and we thought about doing it in one of the suites in Croke Park at the event venue, but I knew there was a little place just around the corner from Croke Park where the real dubs hang out, especially when the games are on in Croke Park. The Hideout Pub, absolutely brilliant spot, like you say. An absolutely smashing pint of Guinness as well. Just off 2 days at SUGCON, brilliant, really great couple of days. I've just loved getting to know all the folks in the community, the customers, the partners themselves, and I think everyone's really energized after the last couple of days.
It's been very exciting. I mean, this is a community-run event, and Sitecore is a sponsor, and I would say we're partners with the community on this event. But this is one of my favorites. It's a partner and Sitecorean favorite, I would say. Really brings the developer community, but it's also been growing over the years in the marketing sense. So we've been seeing a lot of variety this time, and this year is the most people I've ever seen in the marketing session room. So that's great. I think what we wanted to do here was I really wanted to talk back and forth a little bit about what we saw. I think you and I saw you in the same room a lot as me. So, as both coming from a marketing background, we're not going to sit in deep tech dives on how to connect API calls and things like that. But so why don't we start at the beginning with Dave's keynote?
Yeah, the thing that always strikes me about Dave presenting is that I read something a couple of weeks ago. There's this venture capital company called Audacious Ventures, and they only invest in force of nature founders or CEOs.
Yeah.
And when I heard that term, force of nature, you'd think that about Dave.
Yeah.
And he's really been ever since he's become CEO, he's really been driving the energy levels at Sitecore, but he's bringing those energy levels with the deep insight of the actual product itself.
Yeah.
So at an event like this, it's developer-led, technically led, community-led, he's in his absolute element, and I think he's just really bringing folks on the journey.
Yeah, you saw the slide where he's like, in order, here's my focus.
Yeah.
First thing is product, then people, then ecosystem. So exactly. I really loved hearing that. He's definitely passionate about it, and it's just getting to see his product forward message, seeing his promise around even XP 10.4.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, everyone, this isn't going anywhere. Yeah. That was a nice, refreshing change of pace. Something that we've been kind of talking about a little more. Obviously, composable is our path forward, but we are not going anywhere with the product that brought us to the dance, basically.
Exactly, and it's like it's a pick your path now.
Yes.
And it's a pick your path message.
Yes.
If XM Cloud is for you, great.
Yes.
We have XP, we have XP 10.4, we're going to have 10.5 next year.
Yep.
So if you're in that world, you can stay in that world if you want to.
I think Dave, it was hashtag choices, basically. Yeah. That was
Exactly.
We're going to hear him use that word a lot. I don't know if that's going to be the new Lego brick or whatever, but that's great. And I think it's getting well received by the community, and he certainly is being well received from the community as CEO, and I'm excited for him and for Sitecore. So, what did you think about Roger and AI? He would really Roger, our new chief product officer.
Exactly, and I think the good thing about Roger's session was that he was bringing a lot of new, hot off the presses information. And I think for people who are traveling to an event like this, they've paid their money, they've bought their flights, they've paid for their hotel, they've bought the expensive pints in Temple Bar.
Yeah.
When they travel, they want to get value from that. They don't want to see something that they might have seen on LinkedIn the day before.
Right.
They want direct, purposeful news that's hot off the presses, and they really got that.
It really was.
They really got it, and they got a real sense of how we're thinking about end-to-end, how generative AI augments everything that Sitecore is going to do, from creating campaigns all the way to delivering experiences on XM Cloud or even XP.
Yeah. I mean, we all know AI is fast moving. We all know that what we see today could be a little different tomorrow. But it was just the vision of it in our product set was really quite impressive. And then straight from Roger into Peter Brinkman. So Roger Connolly and then into Peter Brinkman. And Peter, every time I've been at a SUGCON, he's one of the bold ones doing the live demo. And he did. So you want to talk about
it? To be honest, it felt a bit like an episode, one of the Ocean's 11 movies. It was like an absolute heist with the scale of everything that he took on yesterday.
Yeah.
The amount of planning that it required, the amount of things that had to go right for him to pull it off.
Right.
End to end, creating experiences, new forms, new competitions, live spin the wheel.
Yes.
Deliver the prizes, deliver the emails thereafter.
Yep.
Like I think he
basically built, for those that didn't see it, he basically built a page with a form connected to email in front of everybody. Used AI. The one thing that stood out to me was using AI as a tool to prevent people from putting profanity in the form field.
I've forgotten that bit.
It's basically like, check and make sure that this field looks like a name. If it doesn't, return no, and that person's name is denied, and it works. And it was. I almost used my Twitter handle, and I realized, if I want to be in this contest, I better not do that because I would have been booted.
And he pulled it off in 40 minutes.
He did. So
impressive.
And we had this massive spinning prize wheel of names that even multiplied after the session ended because it took a little time for the calls.
And I always think, you know how successful the session was when you hear it referenced multiple times. Yeah. The rest of the day and even today, it was like, well, you saw on Peter's session, have it over and over again, which shows you how valuable it was.
Right. And then the last one, kind of the big morning sessions, last but certainly not least, was Liz Nelson, and I'm very excited about Liz.
Some people here are very excited.
The beauty of a live at a pub. No, but I'm excited for her in her role. You can see the passion; it's palpable. I'm seeing that there's going to be a lot of change from her.
Yeah.
I'm just going to speak because there was one thing that particularly excited me because I've run into this already myself with customers where she's basically, and I'm reading this because this is leaving my comfort zone as a marketer, but basically moving visualization into pages, so into the application, removing it from the SDK, which is essentially moving to an agnostic JSS framework approach. There's so many people that are like, well, we don't want to be Next.js, we want Angular, or we want that. This is gonna, from what I am understanding, this is gonna make that possible. Yeah. So, and also the other thing that stood out to me was she wanted to open source our .NET Core SDK. So
yeah, and I'm a bit like you, not as comfortable in that world,
right?
But what I am kind of comfortable in is presenting and speaking, and I thought it was so cool to see how polished, charismatic and cool she was presenting her stuff. And like in a lot of cases we have like developer audiences and it's difficult to kind of marry those two skills.
It is a left right brain thing.
Right brain mix in together. So I think she's awesome.
Yeah. So exciting changes at Sitecore and already, visible in this conference.
100%.
So that left the morning. I don't know if there. I mean, I have certainly some that stood out to me. But what about some of the breakout sessions?
Some of the breakout sessions, I think, I'm going to jump into today. I really enjoyed Jacqueline Baxter's session.
She's a pro.
Yeah, she's an absolute pro. She's hilarious. Mm-hmm. She, every time something happens is out of her control, she absolutely rolls with it. And I get to work with Jacqueline on a day-to-day basis, and she does that in her day job. But like, she's also really exacting in what she wants from you.
Very smart. Brings so much to the table, but you're right, that balance of like, I'm serious, but I can also have fun.
I can have fun while telling you this is not good enough for our customers and on our website.
Yes, I've never been so happy to be told I was wrong from somebody in my life.
Exactly, but she delved into modular content in XM Cloud and talked about the journey that Sitecore ourselves are going on, moving from XP, into XM
We're
Cloud.
we're transforming on our own product.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know, I'm not going to use the kind of hackneyed phrase, but you
Right.
know, we're using our own products.
Right.
And,
Yes.
damn,
Drinking our own champagne.
CDP. We're literally
Drinking our own
We're
Guinness.
drinking our own Guinness.
Yes.
And I think she gave a really nice overview. Again, great presenter.
Yeah.
Always love to see that.
No, she was great. Just on the order of presenting style, Vishali Dilani from Convos, she did a really unforgettable like kind of CX presentation. I think it was actually unforgettable CX experiences.
Yeah.
But the session was good, and I will just say, again, brought great content to the table, really interactive. I think they were probably scared a few people because she was not only asking questions, she was just picking people to answer.
Yeah.
And I think there were some people in the room that were like, don't call me for that. There was one point where I was, and but her energy level was off the charts.
And she flew in from Dubai.
Yeah.
She brought the sunshine, brought the energy.
did, yeah.
And she's a hell of a presenter.
yeah, and smart, awarded individual. So she's already great. She's going to be fun to watch her career grow.
Totally.
So yeah. There was also that lightning round. You were in it was like Sarah. It was like an XM focused lightning round. That was also today. Today is Friday, the second and last day of SUGCON. It was Sarah O'Reilly. She did XM Cloud and Personalized, which I was excited to learn that A/B testing is going to be built into XM Cloud, and personalization is already in XM Cloud. If you add personalized to it, what Sarah was showing that you can basically build rules and personalize, and then they're available natively in XM Cloud. That was amazing to me. That's like the new version of what I grew up on XP, but that's like the new version of that. So
And for anybody who maybe is listening to the podcast doesn't know Sarah O'Reilly,
right,
like she just knows her stuff absolutely inside out, and like she's the kind of Sitecore employee that you put on a plane to Australia because we need to close a deal, and we need somebody who can tell the value proposition, knows the technicalities of it, can demo really well.
I know this firsthand.
I know you've traveled with her as well.
Well, she came to a customer, a major airline customer of ours, and we did a lab, and we built a proof point around a certain use case using personalized, and she built it on the fly. And it was just, and by the way, being used today in major airports. So, that's actually like someone that can take us from concept to actual usable action.
Yeah, I really liked Anna's session as well. She talked about how they use their chatbots on their website. Remind me again of the partner's name.
Anna is Actum. Actum Digital.
Yeah. So she talked about translation. She talked about chatbots on their site. But then, hearing Rob from Sagittarius give an A to Z of XM Cloud.
Yes.
Cool.
We called it a speed run. I guess it's a video gamer term that I'm not a gamer, but how fast can you get through XM Cloud?
As I said to him after, it was like completed it, mate. You did it at the end, and it was always cool to see an Irish accent present to an international audience in Ireland. So he went through end to end on XM Cloud.
Irish accent that lives in London.
Yeah, exactly.
He's hanging on to it. Yeah, Rob McGovern. So
that was really cool. And I think even I was sitting beside my boss Peter Brinkman.
Right.
And we were talking about it as in, we need to kind of be creating more of these videos and content that shows just end to end how powerful this product is.
Right. So I mean, let's talk about a little bit outside the speaking rooms. First of all, the venue did a really great job, and there was good food, the necessary coffee all the way through. But there was also a lot of fun after, and the community piece. So any highlights that
Yeah, I was watching on last night, seeing the WhatsApp group absolutely blow above the groups that were in Hogan's. Even in a place called the Big Romance, which is a pretty cool spot on Parnell Street.
Okay. I was at Hogan's. I was one with the pizza van at the end of the night. That was 2 a.m. for me. But I hear there was a a 4 a.m. contingent. That,
Yes. Yeah, they shall remain nameless.
Yes.
Yeah. But I believe you were in a little bit earlier in Dublin this week.
Yes, so
you were putting the work in.
I put the work in ahead of
early in the
time.
week.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. No, but and I spoke on Thursday and was done with that. So this was that was my night to hang out. And I mean, but that social piece is also what I love about SUGCON is this community comes together. And I think Jackie said it well, because Jackie and I think she has a little longer tenure in the Sitecore ecosystem than me by maybe a year or two. But we've both been around long enough, and she said, I see a lot of familiar faces, but actually I see some new ones. Yeah. It's exciting to that the community's growing, and Tomasz and team and Nicole and everyone does such a great job putting that on.
It's interesting. I was talking to Nicole yesterday, and we just filmed a little piece about Sitecore community and what do you think about XM Cloud and the event, and she was asking me what I think that was the traits of the people who come to these events.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of jumped out to me was how inquisitive people are.
Yeah.
So you have an event like this, people fly into Dublin, they make the best out of it.
Right.
And they want to know what to do on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's not just pubs.
Yeah.
The pubs are fun.
Right. No, they want
your evening, but they want to know where the museums are.
Yep.
They want to know where the best restaurants are.
Yep.
Really, really cool. So I think there's a real inquisitive nature and almost like a kind of a developers and kind of growth marketers mindset.
I think there was
all the folks here.
Yeah, I think there was a group that was trying to get maybe over to the Book of Kells, and so it's like here's people that are looking for history and looking for some understanding, and getting I think that's another thing about SUGCON EU. There is an America version, there's a India version, there's several of these. But the EU version, I believe, is the original, the OG, if you will, of SUGCONs, and Sitecore User Group Conference, for those that I'm saying that's kind of late in the podcast, but that's what the origins of this. And I mean, I'll just speak as an American. I certainly love seeing a different part of, let's say, greater Europe.
Exactly. And I think as well, people who travel here, the Guinness Storehouse is the number one attraction probably in the world for a reason.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's like going to see the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
Yes.
Everybody does it, but they do it because it's amazing.
Yes.
And I think you get a bit of that sense, but you also get a really good sense of everything that Dublin has to offer. So that's really cool.
Amazing. So with Standard Values Podcast, there is one requirement for all of our guests, and that is simply that we ask our guests, Sean, what is your standard value?
My standard value or motto in life is health, family, work, in that order.
I like that one.
And that's how I live my life, essentially. Right. I think when you're operating at capacity, you're looking after yourself, maybe not on a Thursday night after SUGCON, but in general, you're looking after yourself well, you're keeping your health in check, you got your family life nailed down.
That's key.
That's when work becomes fun, and it gets a lot easier. And I think when you can kind of bring your best self to work, when you've got your family taken care of, your health's on point, work gets a lot easier then. Because, and I do think as well, I try and bring that to work on a day-to-day basis too, because I always find, I've done the kind of midnight oil, and you got to work late sometimes, but in general for me, I give it back the next day.
Yeah.
So if I do a midnight, you can write off the 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. the next day, right? So I try and keep it as balanced as I can.
I hear that. Yep.
Everything in moderation, including moderation, of course. That's the value for me.
And in our business, we get burnout, so we got to avoid that. So that's a great value.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for absolutely picking the best place I've ever recorded a podcast. Sláinte.
Cheers. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.